Great. Hi there again, Scott here from Edge Math. Got a question from a student about converting decimal or base 10 numbers to octal or base 8 numbers. So we're given the following decimal numbers. We want to convert into base 8. So it's just a quick review of this number 338. That means we've got, that's 8, that's the units digit. That means that represents 8 just units, just 8 times 1. Then this 3 represents, that's the tens digit, so that's the tens. And then this is the hundreds. That's base 10. So each time we go to the left, we multiply by 10, and then that digit represents how many times we have that number. So here we have 3 100s, 3 tens, then 8 left over to get 338. And we're converting that into base 8. So in base 8, we're going to have the final digit represents units as before, but then we, instead of multiplying by 10, we multiply by 8. So we get 1, then 8, and 64, and then 64 times 8, that's 512, and so on. Now we're working with 338, so we can stop at 512. We stop when we get to a number that's bigger than what we're trying to convert. So 338, we can stop at 512. We're not going to use that. Got 0 of those. So, but how many 64? How many 64s do we have in 338? So for this blank, we need to know. We need to know how many times 64 goes into 338. So how many 64s go into 338? And we can check. 64 times 1 is 64. 64 times 2 is, that's 128. 64 times 3 is 192. 64 times 4 is 256. 64 times 5 is 320. Then 64 times 6 is bigger. 64 times 6 is going to be, let's see, 384. So that's bigger. So we've only got 5 full 64s, less than 338. So this is going to be 5. And then that leaves behind 338. Then we took care of 5 64s. So that's 338 minus 320. So we've got 18 left to take care of. So we need to start with the 8s. So that's pretty easy to see that 8 goes twice into 18. So there's 2 full 8s. So 8 plus 8 is 16. So then 3 full 8s is 24. So that's more than 18. So we've got 2 8s and 18. So we've taken care of those. So minus 18 minus 2 times 8, and that leaves 2 behind. So we've got 2 left, and that's just the units digit. So this is 522 or 522 in base 8. Now how about 992? Let's see. We're going to start again. We're converting into base 8, so we go 1, 8, 64, 512 times 8 again, 40, 96. And we're not going to use that last blank, because that's bigger than 992. So we don't need that. So we need to look at how many times 512 goes into 992. It should be easy to see. Once. It only goes once, because twice 512 is 1024. So that goes in once. and that leaves, so we got 992, we took out 1512, and that leaves 480 behind. Now we need to look at how many, the next digit is 64, so how many times does 64 go into 480? We could divide on the calculator, or we can also continue like we did before. We had 64 times 6 is 384. Then 64 times 7, that would be 1 up, getting 448. And then 64 times 8, that ends up being at 64, 512, or 502, oh, 512. And so, how many times does 64 go into 480 fully? Just 7 times. The 8th is over, so that goes in 7 times. And that leaves, so we had 480, and we took away 7 times, let's write that out, 7 times 64, and so that leaves 32 behind. And then 32 that's a multiple of 8 actually, so that goes into 8 4 times. We have 4 8s and 32, and then that's perfect, so nothing left after that. So 992 and base 10 becomes 1740 and base 8. So hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.